Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to solve May-June 2018 1-2 paper. It's an MCQ paper, and the course which we are studying is Physics 5054. Let's start today's paper. Okay, on your screen, the first question is, which is a vector quantity? A mass of 2 kg is a scalar quantity. A temperature of -10 degrees and is a scalar quantity. A weight of 15 Newton, yes, it's a vector quantity. An average speed is a scalar quantity. So C is the choice. So question number 1, C is the choice. Okay. On your screen, we have question number 2. Forces of 4 Newton and 2 Newton act at a point. Which scale diagram shows the forces that have a resultant of 4 Newton? You see here we have two forces and we want to find out their resultant. And he says the resultant should also be 4. So take a scale and measure that with how much length this 4 is represented. And then measure this resultant force with the help of the scale. If the length of this line on the scale is equal to the length of this line, then it is the answer. So we need a scale, you measure it actually, and then by measuring how much this 4 Newton has been represented with how much length, if this is the resultant of these two forces, if this length on the scale is equal to this length, then the resultant is 4 Newton in this case. So if you will do it, you will came to know that the B is the choice. Kindly do it, and then you will know, okay, the length of from this point to this point, which is the resultant of these two forces, its length is equal to the length of 4 Newtons. So B is the choice. Question number 3. What is the name and value of the unit of power written as MW? This small m, this is actually milliwatt. So milli means 10 raised to the minus 3 watt. So it's milliwatt, 10 raised to the minus 3 watt. So the choice is C. For question number 3, the choice is C. Okay, question number 4 is on your screen. Micrometers, meter rules, tapes, and calipers are used for measuring lengths. Which row identifies the most suitable device for accurately measuring the stated length? You know, micrometers, it is able to measure up to hundredth of a millimeter. Hundredth of a millimeter. Means if the length is in millimeters, then after point you can go to the 2 decimal places. So A is the correct choice. So because we have to choose one and the A is the correct, so no need to go further. Okay. Question number 5 is on your screen. The planets in the solar system or the sun, which statement is correct? There is a force on each planet away from the sun, no. There is a force on each planet in the direction in which it travels, no. There is a force in each planet opposite to the direction in which it travels, no. There is a force on each planet towards the sun, yes, we call it centripetal force, and that is provided by the gravity of the sun. So D is the choice. Question number 5, D is the choice. Question number 6, which forces acts on a skydiver who is falling at terminal velocity? When you are falling at terminal velocity, the downward force is your weight and the upward force is air resistance, and they are equal to each other, they balance out each other. Resultant force is 0. That's why the acceleration is 0, that's why the body falls at a constant speed, we call it terminal velocity. So when something is falling with a constant terminal velocity, it is subject to two forces, weight and air resistance. So for question number 6, A is the choice. Okay, here we have a uniform rod of weight 5 Newton is held initially at rest. The diagram shows the forces acting on the rod when it's released. So the question is, what happens to the rod when it is released? Okay, you know, the upward direction, the force is 10 Newton. Downward, the total downward force is 10 Newton. So upward, downward is basically balanced. But you look at here carefully. Here on this end, trying to produce a you gave it a 3 Newton force. So it will try to produce a clockwise moment about this point, and this will try to put anti-clockwise moment in this way. But this force its moment will be larger than its moment, so this thing will be not in balance. So what will happen that this thing will start rotating. So it will rotate. Question number 7, D is the choice. It will rotate. Okay. Question 8, a block of metal is placed on an electronic balance to record its mass. What is the unit of the reading on the electronic balance and what is the unit of weight? The unit of weight should be always Newton. And this electronic balance, its unit can be gram, it can be kg. The options given, he gave us the gram and Newton will be the unit for the weight. So B looks the right choice, sir. Question number 8, B is the choice. Okay, on your screen we have question number 9. A body of mass 10 kg falling freely in the gravitational field close to the moon's surface has an acceleration of 1.6 meter per second square. What is the gravitational field strength on the moon? You know, because on the moon there is no air, it's like a kind of vacuum. There is no air, so there is no air resistance. So whatever is the acceleration of the free falling body, it is equals to the acceleration is 1.6 meter per second square. That acceleration is also equals to the gravitation. That number is equals to the gravitational field strength, and that will be 1.6 Newton per kg. Because there is no air resistance on the moon. 1.6 Newton per kg. So B is the choice. Question number 9, B is the choice. Question number 10 is on your screen. Two objects X and Y are suspended from a uniform rod pivoted at its center. The rod is in equilibrium. Which statement about X and Y is correct? So in the options given, he's talking about the mass of X and mass of Y. So because this whole thing is in equilibrium, the clockwise, anti-clockwise moment produced by the X and the clockwise moment produced by the Y, they are equal to each other. The moment produced by X is its weight multiply its distance from the pivot equals to weight of the Y multiply its distance from the pivot. I have done this on a paper. Let me show you that. Okay. You see, mg, this is the weight of X multiply 10, its moment arm, equals to mass of Y multiply G multiply 25. 25 is moment arm. And so you will G and G will be cancelled at 10 mx equals to 25 my. So cancel both sides with 5. 2 mx equals to 5 my. So mx is 2 will go on the other side, divide. So 5 divided by 2, it will be 2.5. You see the mass of X is 2.5 times the mass of Y. Look at the options given. The mass of X is 2.5 times the mass of Y. So B is the option. Question number 10, B is the option. Question 11 on your screen, a force of 1600 Newton accelerates at 800 kg from rest. What is the car's acceleration and its velocity after 4 seconds? Okay, so we know the force, we know the mass, we can find the acceleration, we can apply Newton's second law of motion, F is equals to ma. From there we can calculate A value. Once I know the A value, then I can apply the formula. A is equals to u minus v divided by t. I know the acceleration. I know the initial velocity is 0. V we can find out. The time is 4 seconds. I've done this on a paper. Let me show you that working. Okay. On your screen, can you see that? F is equals to ma. 1600 equals to 800 into A. A will be equals to 1600 divided by 8. And the answer will be 2 meter per second square. So we know the acceleration. You know the acceleration formula is v minus u by t. Acceleration is 2, initial velocity is 0, time is 4. Put the values, get the value of v, it will be 8 meter per second. So acceleration is 2, and the final velocity will be 8 meter per second. So D looks the option, sir. For question number 11, D is the option. Okay. On your screen, we have question number 12. The graph shows extension load curves for 4 fibers. Which fiber is the most difficult to stretch over the range of loads shown? Okay, so these are graphs. Here we have extension and here we have load. The thing is difficult to extend whose graph is less steeper. whose graph's gradient is less. Because, for example, if you take this load, go to the graph, it produces only this much extension. From the same load, if you go to the C, it produces this much extension. So you see, the same load produces less extension in D. You can take a load here. See how much at this load, how much extension is produced in D. At this load, how much extension is produced in C. At this load, how much extension is produced in A. And this load, how much extension is produced in A. You will observe that the extension for the same load, less extension is produced in D. So from here we conclude that it is difficult to extend D. So most difficult to stretch is D. 12's option is D, sir. Okay, question number 13 is on your screen. 4 objects of equal mass rest on a table. The center of mass of each object is labeled G. Which object is the least stable? Remember, the word is least stable. The least stable is that object whose base area is smaller and whose center of mass is higher. It looks B. B looks the least stable. Question number 13. B. Okay, question 14. Which power station produces carbon dioxide when operating? Gas-fired power station produce because when we burn the gas, the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide are produced. Geothermal do not produce, nuclear power station do not produce, wind power do not produce carbon dioxide. So A is the option, sir. Question 14A is the option. Okay. Next question, a little bit tricky question. Work is done when a force of 400 Newton pulls a crate of weight 500 Newton at a constant speed along a ramp as shown. Part of the work done increases the gravitational potential energy E of the crate, and the rest is work done W against the friction. Okay. So work done, you have to find out 2 things. Let me reduce the size so you can understand it. Okay. So one thing is the work done. You have to find out the increase in the gravitational potential energy, and it is represented with E. This box, its weight is 500 Newton, and it has gained a vertical height of 3 meters. So its gain in potential energy is gravitational potential energy is mgh, or weight into height. So 500 into 3 meters. The answer will be 1500 joules. So E value should be 1500 joules. Then his question is, what is the work done against the friction? So the gain in the potential energy is 1500. You know, here you applied 400 Newton force and the body traveled a distance of 5 meters. So how much work is done by the applied force? That will be 400 multiply 5. It will be 2000 joules work done by that force. That will be 2000 joules. But the gravitational potential energy you got in the body is just 1500. But you did a work of 2000 joules. But the useful thing happened only 1500 joules. So where the 500 joule went? It was the work done against the friction. His question was, right, find out how much work is done against the friction. So work done by you is 2000 Newton. Gain in the gravitational potential energy is just 1500 Newton. The rest is 500, sorry, I said Newton, it's joules. And 2000 minus 1500 joules, and the answer will be 500 joules. So why 500 joules energy has disappeared? We don't know where it went. It was actually the work done against the friction. So W value will be 500 and E value will be 1500. So for question number 15A, is the choice is a very different kind of question. Okay. So keep this question in your mind. Okay, so we are moving to next question. The next question on your screen is question number 16, and the 16th question is simple 5 blocks have the same mass but different base area. They all rest on a horizontal table. A graph is plotted to show the relationship between the pressure exerted on the table and the base area of the block. Which graph? You know, the base area in contact and the pressure, they are inversely proportional to each other. And the best representation of two quantities which are inversely proportional to each other is this last graph. Remember this standard shape. This shape is used to represent a relationship between two quantities whose relation is an inversely proportional relation. So sub 16D is the option. Okay, we can increase the size. Okay. The diagram shows a simple mercury barometer, which height is a measure of the atmospheric pressure. You know, the mercury, level of the mercury in the tube and the level of the mercury in the tray. The height of the mercury in the tube from the height of the mercury in the tray, that height is actually the representation of the atmospheric pressures. So C is the choice. 17C is the choice. Okay. On your screen, we have question 18. A sealed packet containing air and a snack is purchased at an airport. The sealed packet is taken on board an aircraft. During the flight, the packet becomes larger. What causes the packet to become larger? If the outside pressure of that packet, if the pressure of the outside air, outside the packet, I mean, if the pressure of the air outside the packet, if that decreases, the packet will start becoming bigger and bigger. So the reason is the pressure of the air outside the packet decreases. C is the choice. Question number 18, C is the choice. Question number 19. A sealed container of gas is heated and the pressure inside increases. What happens to the molecules of gas to cause this increase in pressure? Sealed container, volume cannot change, and you heated it. The kinetic energy will increase, and they will hit the container more frequently. That's the reason of the increase in the pressure. So D is the choice, sir. D, question number 19, D is the choice. They hit the container more frequently. Okay. Question number 20 on your screen. The equal masses of copper and water are heated to the same temperature. As they cool down, the copper and the water loses thermal energy at the same rate. The temperature of the copper falls faster. Why is this so? Because the copper has lower specific heat capacity. That's why its temperature will drop very fast. Copper has a smaller specific latent. No, copper has smaller specific heat capacity. So for question number 20, C is the option. Okay, on your screen, question number 21, the diagram shows a thermometer. What is the region X of the capillary tube? It has vacuum in it. It's a vacuum. So for question number 21, X, this empty place, is a vacuum. For 21A is the option. Here are the four thermometers. They have equal length are shown, but the readings are different on them. This goes from 30 to 40. And this goes from 0 to 250. The question is, the question is which thermometer has the greatest sensitivity? The thermometer who has smallest range, this Q1, 30 to 40, just 10, its range is 10 from 30 to 40. It has the greatest sensitivity. And the greatest range is the R, who goes from 0 to 250. So C looks the choice, sir. Question number 22, C is the choice. This Q is the most sensitive, and this R has the most greatest range. Okay. On your screen, we have question number 23. The resistance R of a wire increases uniformly with temperature. The values of R at the fixed points are shown in the table. Okay. At 0, the resistance is 100. At 100 degrees centigrade, the resistance is 250. What is the temperature when R is equal to 160 ohm? I have done this on a paper. Let me show you. Okay. We're done with this. Okay, here we go. So we have the formula R theta minus R naught divided by R 100 minus R naught equal to theta minus 0 by 100 minus 0. Theta is the question. 160 minus 100 by 250 minus 100 equals to theta by 100. So 60 by 150 equals to theta by 100. So if I make theta alone, it will be 100 into 60 divided by 150, and the answer will be 40 degrees centigrade. 40 degrees centigrade. I hope you have understood this numerical, famous numerical. B is the option. Number 23, B is the option. Okay, on your samples of 4 different materials at room temperature are heated from below and heat is transferred upward. In which material is all the heat transferred by the vibration of the molecules? The vibration of the molecules will be happening in some solid thing. Rubber, yeah, rubber can be the choice. C, rubber, C, 24. C is the choice. Question number 23. The diagram shows 4 identical cans with different outside surface, either polished silver or painted dull black. Each can contain the same volume of water initially at 80 degrees centigrade. After 5 minutes in a cool room, which can contains the coolest water? The one who is without lid and whose outer surface is dull and black. So A is the choice. Because dull and black and open lid, these are the recipes for the fastest heat loss. A is the choice, 25. Question number 26 is on your screen. A communication system uses microwaves with a wavelength of 15 centimeter. The speed of the light is 3x per 8 meter per second. What is the frequency of the microwave? So you know wave coefficient V is equals to F lambda. We can find. Okay, on your screen I have done question number 26. And Y is equal to 15 centimeter. Convert it into meter. So 15 divided by 100 and it will be 0.15 meter. The C speed of this light is also given 3x per 8 meter per second. V is equal to F lambda. So put the value of speed and the lambda and find the F. 3x per 8 divided by 0.15. The answer will be 2x per 9 hertz. I hope you have understood it. Question number 26. C is the choice. 2x per 9 hertz. 2x per 9 hertz. C is the choice. Okay. Question number 27. The diagram shows 2 divergent rays of the light from an object O being reflected from a plane mirror. At which point is the image formed? If I will prolong this line behind the mirror, and I will prolong this reflected ray behind the mirror, I hope they will intersect at point B, so it means the image will be formed on B. So for question number 27, B is the option. I hope you have understood. I have prolonged this behind the mirror and I have prolonged this reflected ray behind the mirror. So where these 2 rays intersect, the image will be formed. B is the option. Which statement about the blue light is correct? The blue light has a smaller frequency than the red light. That's wrong. Blue light has a longer wavelength than the red light. That's wrong. Blue light has the same speed in glass as the red light. No, in glass they have different speeds. Blue light is refracted more by a glass prism than red light. That is true. Blue is refracted more. Question number 29. Which device uses total internal reflection optical fiber? Famous example. Which device uses the total internal reflection optical fiber? B is the answer. Question number 29. B is the option. Okay. So question number 30 is on your screen. A television controller emits an infrared beam. Which statement about infrared radiation is correct? It causes ionization. No. It consists of longitudinal waves. No. It has a higher frequency than the ultraviolet. No. It travels at the speed of light. Yes. It travels at the speed of light. So for question number 30, D is the option. The diagram shows a loudspeaker that is producing a continuous sound waves of frequency 200 hertz in air. This is the loudspeaker and this is a point in air. So which diagram best shows how the sound waves causing a molecule at P to move? So sound waves are going in this way to the right. So this particle will vibrate parallel to the sound wave. It's a longitudinal wave. So the particle of the medium will vibrate parallel to the direction of the wave. So A is the best description of the movement of the particle. A is the option. I hope you understand. Okay, question number 32 is on your screen. Which frequency is the range heard by a healthy human ear? Is in the range of. So the human ear can hear from 20 hertz to 20,000. So 12K is the answer, sir. C is the option. 12K, 12,000 hertz. So question number 32, C is the option. Question number 33 is on your screen. He says, what is one of the uses of ultrasound? Ultrasound uses satellite communication? No. Fluorescent tubes? No. Optical fiber? No. A is the right option. Cleaning the jewelry. So for question number 33, A is the option. It's a famous question. It's a repeat question. Remember this question. You will see this question in many other papers. The diagram shows an alarming system. So what happens when battery B is disconnected? If you disconnect this battery, this coil and iron core will lose their magnetism. So this iron armature, which was previously due to the magnetic field, was lifted in the air. Under its weight, it will fall. It will touch this point. This second circuit will be completed, and this bell will start ringing. So the iron armature will fall, and the bell will ring. So for 34, A is the option. For 34, A is the option. Okay, my dear friends. Question number 35 is on your screen. V is a potential difference, I is a current, R is a resistance, and T is a time. Which expression has unit of energy? The unit of energy is famous formula for the electric energy, IVT. VIT. Written here, C. C is the formula for the electric energy. So question number 35, C. IVT, famous formula, VIT. Question number 36. A step-down transformer has a primary coil and a secondary coil wound on a soft iron core. The primary coil is connected to a 6-volt direct current supply. Which statement about the transformer is correct? The output, because transformer works only on the AC supply. If you connect the DC supply, there will be no EMF induced in the secondary. There is no output voltage. D is the option for question number 36 because the transformers work on alternating current, not a DC power supply. 36, D is the option. Okay. Question number 37. Which symbol is used for a light dependent resistor? This symbol is the light emitting diode, LDR. This symbol is for thermistor. This symbol is variable resistor. This symbol is, I think, this is the symbol, light dependent resistor. Light dependent resistor. Okay. Next question, 38. Okay, the circuit diagram shows a variable resistor R connected in parallel to lower half of a potential divider. The resistance R increases. What happens to the voltmeter? You see, when you will increase this R value, the total resistance of this parallel combination will increase a little bit. So V2 will increase. When V2 will increase, V1 will have. So V1 value will decrease and V2 value will increase. So for 38, it looks B is the option, sir. B is the option. Question number 39. We can increase the size a little bit. Okay. An oscilloscope is used to measure potential difference. The trace with no input connected is shown. Okay. So the dot is in the middle of the screen. A 1.5 volt DC supply is connected to the oscilloscope. The Y gain is set at 0.5 volt per division. So 1.5 volt for this thing, 1 division is 0.5 volt. So for 1.5, the thing has to go 3 steps up. And the time base is set at 0.5 millidivision. The trace shows a supply of 1.5 volt DC supply. It's a DC supply, so it will be a horizontal line, 3 steps above the center point. So this C is the option, sir. C is the right option. It's because it was a DC supply. Okay, the next question is on your screen, question number 40. How many nucleons are in the one neutral atom of the krypton isotope Kr3684? So number nucleons means number of neutrons plus the number of protons. That is called the mass number also. 84. So for question number 40, 84, C is the option. Okay, Ji, that's it, Ji, for today. We are done with this paper. It was little easy paper, just a 1-2 tricky questions. And this was May, June 2018, 1-2 paper. The course is Physics 5054. I believe that I have been a little bit helpful to you. Hopefully, your answering skills will improve and your grades will improve. Keep working hard and make your teachers and your parents and your nation proud. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good day and God bless you.